The Tenant's ledger for Ironwood Spire. 3 weeks ago, my partner, Elias, and I took a leap we've been planning since we first met 7 years ago. At 29, Elias, and 26, me, we were ready to trade our family's basements for a place of our own in Ironwood Spire, a hulking, century-old high-rise in Missoula, Montana. Elias is my haven, his quiet humor, his steady hands, the way he hums off-key when he thinks I'm not listening. Moving together was more than logistics. It was a vow to build a life, brick by brick. Missoula's rental market is a grinder. Elias's shifts at a music shop and occasional gigging with his folk band barely covered his half, while my freelance copywriting and night classes for a marketing degree stretched me thin. We combed listings for months, expecting a damp closet with a single outlet. Then we found it, a 3-bedroom in Ironwood Spire, Unit 52 on the 9th floor. It had tall windows overlooking Selway Park, a wrought iron balcony just wide enough for 2 chairs, and a street below buzzing with dive bars, used bookstores, and a 24-hour laundromat. The neighborhood was rough, graffiti-smeared alleys, shouts echoing at midnight, but we'd grown up in places that didn't shine either. This felt like a diamond in the dirt. The lease was a dream too perfect to trust. No deposit, an open-ended term we could stretch for a decade, and a landlord who promised total privacy, no inspections, no drop-ins. We just foot the bill for any damage when we left. In Missoula, where studios go for blood money, this was a siren song. We signed online, hearts pounding, too scared to ask for a tour in case it was a glitch that'd disappear. Move-in day was a marathon. The elevator, a creaking cage with a faded velvet curtain, wheezed under crates of vinyl records, thrift store bookshelves, and a lumpy futon we'd scored for free. When it jammed on floor 3, movers cursed their way up 9 flights with our heavier stuff, a cedar chest from Elias's mom, a second-hand table, a mattress we'd splurged on. Unit 52 was a time capsule, scuffed parquet floors, chipped crown molding, and a faint scent of old wood and wax. By nightfall, we'd unpacked enough to claim it, sprawling on a rug Elias's sister had woven, eating cold noodles from a corner shop on the balcony. Selway Park glittered below, its paths winding like veins, and we clinked mismatched mugs of tea, laughing about our sore muscles. Elias had a 7 a.m. shift, so we crashed on the mattress, bed frame still in pieces, my head tucked against his shoulder. I slept deeper than I had in years, certain we'd landed somewhere safe. That certainty splintered the next morning. Alone after Elias left, I hunted for a kettle and opened a cabinet above the sink. Inside was a hoard of odds and ends, spare fuses, a cracked measuring cup, curtain rods, a bag of drywall screws, and a folded parchment, yellowed at the edges. It was addressed to new keeper of Unit 52 in spidery, deliberate script, the kind you'd find in an antique book. Expecting a sweet note, maybe a recipe from an old tenant, I unfolded it. Instead, it was a ledger of rules, each line colder than the last, turning my new home into a puzzle with teeth. Here's what it said, etched in my memory. Dear new keeper, welcome to Ironwood Spire. I am Agnes Harrowell, and for 47 years, I shared this apartment with my husband, Leonard. A sudden calamity stole him from me, and my niece believes I can't carry on alone. I've moved to her farm in Kalispell, but leaving this place is like carving out my heart. Ironwood Spire is no mere building. It breathes, it watches, it holds grudges. I've spent decades learning its rhythms, and if you wish to root here, truly belong, you must heed these commandments. 1. The landlord is a ghost. Pay rent by midnight on the 1st, always. I faltered once, and the price was more than money. For leaks or wiring, message the leasing office. No one comes unbidden. 2. Never touch the elevator between 1:07 and 3:52 a.m. This is life or ruin. It's not a suggestion, it's survival. I won't say why. You'll thank me. 3. You'll hear unsettling echoes from Unit 59, scrapes, low moans, like wind trapped in pipes. That's Mr. Tully, a gentle recluse. Smile when you pass him, but don't chase those sounds, no matter how they pull at you. 4. If a window washer scales your balcony, treat him like air. He'll grin, tap the glass, maybe hum a tune. He seems kind, even familiar. Do not look. Do not speak. He'll leave if you're stone. 5. Lock all food away, tight bins, sealed fridge, no crumbs left out. If you've got pets, clear their dishes the moment they're done. This binds to Rule 2. You don't want what hunts at night. 6. Shun anyone claiming they live in Units 71 to 78. A boiler explosion in the 80s gutted those rooms, and they've been boarded up since. If someone knocks, swearing they're from there, bolt your door and swallow your voice. 7. Keep a weight in every corner, a hammer, a stone, something to wield. Sometimes, even caution fails, and something crosses your threshold. Be ready. 8. The Tenants Union is warm, led by Clara from Unit 27. Share their coffee hours if you like, but refuse if she asks you to watch her kids. The cost outweighs the kindness. 9. Scaleless snakes glide through the halls. They're harmless, mostly. Don't touch unless you see a stranger from 71 to 78. Then grab one and lock it inside with you. It'll burn, but they shield what's theirs. 10. The blotch on the dining room ceiling defies scrubbing. It may darken to a vein blue, but it won't leak or spread. Turn your eyes away. 11. Trust the mail carrier, Vera Cole. She's older than the Spire, delivering at 7:37 a.m. sharp. If you're unmoored, she'll light your path. 12. The first month will break you open. You'll doubt your mind, your courage. Cling to these rules, and you'll find balance. Ironwood Spire can hold you, but only if you bow to its will. In vigilance, Agnes Harrowell. I sat on a stool, the note heavy in my lap, tea gone cold. A hoax seemed absurd. The leasing agent had named Agnes, a widow who'd left abruptly after decades. I wandered to the dining room, and there it was, a faint, splotchy mark on the ceiling, like spilled ink frozen mid-drip. During move-in, I'd glimpsed a scaleless snake, its body a shimmer in the stairwell's gloom. My brain screamed coincidence, but my bones hummed with warning. At 8:05 a.m., I found 2 letters for Agnes outside my door, missed in Vera's precise delivery. By 10:50 a.m., dread became reality when a man appeared on the balcony, his coverall streaked with grime, his smile too sharp as he rapped the glass. Rule 4 was a lifeline. For 32 minutes, he lingered, whistling softly, his gaze pinning me through bare windows. When he vanished, I checked every angle, no ropes, no platform, no shadow on the street. He was gone, like smoke. Elias hadn't texted, a break in his rhythm. His shift ended at 1 p.m., but by 3 p.m., he wasn't back. I called the shop. He'd never arrived. My heart clawed up my throat, replaying his 7 a.m. exit, the elevator's whine as it swallowed him. Rule 2 wasn't advice, it was a barrier I'd let him cross. The next 10 days were a fog of fear. Elias's absence was a wound I couldn't stitch, and sleep was a fleeting ghost. I followed Agnes's rules like scripture, food sealed in jars, elevators shunned after dusk, a fireplace poker now my shadow. The ceiling blotch seemed to shift when I wasn't looking, though rulers proved it unchanged. A tenants union flyer appeared, inviting me to a Thursday meeting. Starved for allies, I went. The meeting, in Unit 33, was a clash of the mundane and the bizarre. Chaired by Beatrice, a retired nurse with a hawk stare, it tackled buzzing lights on floor 10 that spooked cats, a silent figure haunting floor 5 stairs, and pleased to muffle Mr. Tully's noises. I broke in, voice raw, spilling Elias's absence, Agnes's note, and a chilling visit from a tenant of Unit 73, their eyes too wide, their knock too rhythmic. The room stilled, but Beatrice shut me down. Only Agnes had ever faced such things, she said. Keep your locks tight, your wits sharper. A few lingered after. Clara, a weary mom from 27, Mateo, a wry bartender from floor 11, and cousins Lila and Finn from floor 14. In my unit, we huddled over tea and granola bars, plotting to trap the strangers from 71 to 78. Clara's twins, Ivy and Theo, doodled nearby, their nighttime traits. Eyes like polished glass, nails that clicked like claws, both eerie and endearing. Ivy once whispered to me, "The snake's like you," and I shivered, unsure why. Our schemes faltered. Cameras? Too costly. Confrontation? Too reckless. Then I remembered Agnes's obsession with her window herbs, how she'd tended them like children. She'd written of a groundskeeper, Ezra, who'd steered her through the spire's shadows. I bought basil, thyme, and clay pots, planting a patch by the rear-loading dock. At 2 a.m., under a starless sky, Ezra appeared. He was stooped, with frost-white hair and a scarf frayed at the ends. I poured out my terror, Elias, the rules, the strangers. Ezra listened, his hands clasped, then led me to the elevator at 1:20 a.m., swearing it was clear. Inside, he pointed to the buttons. Anything gone? I counted, 1 to 17, all there. Find floor 13, he said. I froze. 13 was missing, though I'd sworn I'd seen it moving in. The spire, Ezra said, was alive, burying its scars. He explained the strangers were bound to floor 13, echoes of a sabotage they'd wrought in the 80s, a betrayal the building never forgave. Ezra had guided Agnes to Trap 4, luring them to their claimed units, where the spire sealed them. I demanded help. The next night, floor 13 was a blackened maze, walls weeping soot. We faced Julian, a stranger who'd hovered outside my door, his voice a velvet plea for a moment. He'd seared my hands as I yelled, 75. His unit. Ezra shoved him inside, and the door fused shut, his wails fading. We escaped, floor 13 dissolving behind us. Ezra vanished on my floor, his work done. I collapsed in Unit 52, daring to hope the worst was past. Then I saw her, Agnes, clawing through my herbs with a spade, her face a mask of rage and loss. She knew Ezra had returned, though I couldn't guess how. A torn note in her hand, Ezra's writing, confessed he'd undone a pact, severing a creature she'd bound to her. Her grief twisted into vengeance, all for me. We fought in the mud, her words venomous, accusing me of stealing her tether to Leonard. Neighbors watched, their faces pale in high windows. Agnes swung the spade, and Ivy and Theo, perched on crates, pointed wildly behind me. I sprinted into the spire, banging doors. Tenants rallied, Mateo with a crowbar, Lila with a bat, but Agnes was relentless, her steps pounding up the stairs. On floor 9, bleeding from her strikes, I pounded on Mr. Tully's door, voice hoarse with pleas. As my sight dimmed, a titan emerged, part ram, part storm, its hooves shaking the hall. Agnes faltered, and I fell into darkness. I woke in a hospital, my parents gripping my hands, their eyes red. Police said a neighbor saw a mugging, 3 men jumping me and Elias, scorching my wrist, taking him. I agreed, burying the truth. My cuts were shallow, I'd mend. Back at Ironwood Spire, the place felt like kin, its quirks a strange comfort. Mr. Tully winked, hinting he'd ended Agnes's pursuit. Clara returned my bag, saying she'd found me outside and spun the mugging tale. Agnes's fate, she murmured, fed Mr. Tully's hunger. I'm staying. The elevator's murmurs are my only foe, dodged with stairs past midnight. I replanted the herbs with Ivy and Theo, hoping for Ezra, but he's gone. Elias's absence is a quiet bruise, but I'm weaving roots here. Last night, Agnes's tie to her creature haunted me. Against all reason, I whispered Ezra's ritual in the elevator, words that burned my tongue. I haven't seen him yet, but the vents rattle with intent. Elias's voice called my name at 3 a.m., soft from the hall. I locked the door tighter. The ceiling blotch is deeper now, a blue that swallows light. Selway Park still sparkles, but I don't go to the balcony alone anymore. The snakes linger closer, curling near my door. Ivy says they're waiting, but she won't say for what. I tell myself this is home, that I'm stronger than the Spire's games. But the rattling hasn't stopped, and last night, the elevator opened on its own. Something hummed inside, and it wasn't Elias. I take the stairs now, every time. The Spire's pulse. Ironwood Spire doesn't sleep. By week 4, I noticed patterns Agnes didn't mention. The lights dim every Tuesday at 4:17 p.m., just for 6 seconds, like a heartbeat. The snakes, sleek, translucent things, never cross the 9th floor's threshold unless I'm late locking the fridge. Once, I left a peach slice out, testing Rule 5. By dawn, the kitchen floor was a map of their trails, and the elevator groaned for an hour, though no one rode it. Clara's twins are my tether. Ivy draws snakes with crayons, their tails looping into knots, and Theo whispers about the blue room when he thinks I'm not listening. I asked Clara what he means. She paled and changed the subject. Mateo swears he saw Elias's guitar case in the basement last week, but the lock there's rusted shut, and he won't go back. I don't blame him. Vera, the mail carrier, is my oracle. At 7:37 a.m., she slides letters under my door, her knock sharp as a metronome. Last Friday, she lingered, her eyes like slate. "You're keeping the rules?" she asked. I nodded, throat dry. "Good. But watch the mirrors." She left before I could ask what she meant. Now I avoid the bathroom glass after dusk. Its edges seem to blur. The tenants' union meets weekly, and I go, though Beatrice's glare hasn't softened. They debate new locks for the lobby, but no one mentions floor 13. I tried once. The room went cold, and Clara squeezed my hand under the table. "Later," she mouthed. Later never comes. I've added my own rules. Never leave shoes by the door. They're always moved by morning, toes pointed to the elevator. Don't hum Elias's songs. The snakes coil tighter when I do. And never, ever sleep with the balcony door unlocked. I did once, and woke to frost on the rug, though it was July. The Spire knows me now. Its pulse quickens when I pass Unit 59, where Mr. Tully's moans are louder, less human. I nod to him daily, per Rule 3, but his smile stretches too wide, and his hands tremble like he's holding something back. I keep the poker closer. I dream of Elias every night, his laugh, his calloused fingers, the way he'd sketch chords on napkins. In the dreams, he's in the elevator, but the doors won't open. "Last night," he whispered, "you called me." I woke to scratches on the floor, long and deliberate, leading to the hall. The snakes were gone. I'm not leaving. Ironwood Spire is mine. Its rules my map. But the hum is louder, and the blotch pulses when I sleep. I hear Elias at 3:07 a.m., his voice clear now, not a dream. He's in the walls, or the vents, or the blue room Theo fears. I'll find him, even if the Spire fights me. It's alive, but so am I.